Fellow gentlemen and ladies, we all know that it's a desire of every and any distinguished man out there to achieve the greatness and the desires that they would love to achieve in their lives. But there are some things that we hold on to that actually limits us from actually achieving exactly that. In this video, I'm actually gotten the privilege to talk to you the three enemies of the progress when it comes to men. And some of these enemies actually are way around us, and these are the things that we tend to assume them, and they actually affect us in a big way. Some of us know and exactly understand what they are, but they choose not to go ahead and take the appropriate desires or appropriate decisions or actions to take to curb them from actually affecting them in the progress of them achieving the greatness. So the point is this: all what you need to do is sit back, relax. Either you are a man watching this video or you are a lady watching this video, perhaps you'd like to share this information to the guys who are out there, maybe your brother, your husband, or anybody who is out there. All right, so all what you need to do, sit back, relax, and watch this video to the end. Now with me, I've actually outlined all the points on this board, making it easier for you or for us to go through step by step and explain what exactly I mean that the three greatest enemies of the progress in men. And by the way, before I actually go ahead and discuss these points, I do not know whether you know that each and every day I post a video about money, about investment, making money, be it either online or any conventional way. If you don't want to miss any of my good future videos, you do this. It doesn't cost you anything. It is free of charge. Down below there on your right, there is a small button written subscribe. Hit that magical button, turn the notification bell as well as liking this video, and by only doing that, a whole YouTube will notify you whenever I upload a new good video. So enough with the introduction, let's get into the point. All right, the point number one, and by the way, before I even tell you what is it, the three things that actually deters man from progressing are actually also their greatest. It all depends on how you utilize them. Point number one, you have what we call uncontrolled desire for women. Women, they are wonderful people. We love them. They are our greatest. They are our sisters. They are our moms and all those kind of things. They're even our colleagues. But the point is this: if you have a desire of uncontrolled desires towards these wonderful people, it means that you're gonna use money. Because hey, you know what? It costs money for you to be out there in a romantic way with a given lady. Say you have a multiple type of them. All right. And again, one thing, let's say it costs like an average of, let's say, 3,500 to you for you to be with that lady. Say you're married, you're out there, and you need to be with that specific individual. Obviously, you can't bring them back at your home. Then that means you have to grab somewhere that you can actually go hide and do all your things. That costs money. First of all, I've actually ignored the time. First of all, there is an aspect of time, there is an aspect of morality, there is an aspect of social life. And again, because here we talk about money, I'm looking on the monetary value or the monetary aspect of that occasion. That's what actually deters men from progressing. The other thing, of course, if you go back and read the history has it all and has actually explained to you that if you do not control yourself before them, then you can get yourself in a ditch or in a situation whereby getting yourself out of it is really a big thing. For example, if you're privileged to be, reading news on the social medias and what have you, there's some cases that have been trending in quite a, better part of the days, that there was a certain individual, a man in Murang'a County in Kenya, got access of 700K, and he squandered that money in 3 days, and the lady whom he had, went to in having the funds and what have you, the money just disappeared. All right. I'm not saying that ladies are bad. No, the point is this: if you do not have a control over them when you present yourself, then you're going to get yourself into problems. And the problem is this: that men, most of them, they never love to be advised. Probably you might get a comment down on this video telling me, hey, I should mind about my own businesses. I shouldn't. Because if I have something that I can share with you, then you have the privilege to listen. Taking the action, it's all about you. All right. So the point is this: women tend to actually deter men from progressing and achieving their greatest goals. The point is this: if you can manage to go and read a certain book called The Semen Retention and Magic Something of Sort, that actually book gives you information on what actually a man can actually be able to achieve if you can actually be able to limit the feminine environment to you, so that at least you can achieve the greatest that you can out there in this life. All right. The point number two is untamed alcohol taking and excessive party throwing out there. Listen, I said untamed alcohol taking and excessive party throwing. I didn't say people should not be going to parties. I didn't say people shouldn't be taking alcohol. But if you ask me, I will say they shouldn't. Actually, it's not good in a black and white, I would say stop taking it. That's a fact. That's my stand. But anyway, if you have to, then have a tamed one. Have a controlled one. Not just being there, throwing party. In Kenya they say pewa, meaning like give him the other, and then the next minute you realize you had that like 10,000 in your pocket. It is gone. You don't even know what next you can do for you to actually go ahead and grow yourself. The point is this: party throwing is nice, it's amazing, but do so after planning yourself, making sure that you've already channeled that money towards the areas that you know are much quite necessary. Because one thing that you're supposed to understand, God is so merciful and fair to our lives. And what happens is that we start with the strength. And when we start with the strength, when you're young, when you're energetic, that's the time that you build foundations for us when we are old. For me, I usually understand, or I take it from the point of, we having kids in life is not really designed for them to help us in a monetary aspect, but maybe in a social way, like them being in present with us, that actually gives us good thing. But this issue of relying on kids and such kind of something of sort is not really a call for. So the point is this: you're supposed to build yourself as early as you can as you grow old, so that at least when you retire, you can be able to actually eat the fruits of your labor, of what you're doing when you're young. But when you misdirect that energy, that excessive energy, towards things that are not bring any value towards your life, then you're gonna get yourself into a situation whereby to get yourself out of it, it's gonna be a bigger problem. And I know one thing: all those guys who are watching this video, including men, those who take alcohol, if you were to ask them at an individualistic level, you take them aside, let them and ask a question: do you think taking alcohol is a nice thing? They always tell you, no, it is not, and I wouldn't advise you to get yourself into it. But when they're in a crowd thinking, all of them, they tell you, hey, it's a nice thing, how do you make yourself happy, and all those kind of things. There is a lot of accusation from those who take to those who do not. So the point is this: it is not really unadvisable to actually get yourself into a situation where you know you cannot actually be able to sustain yourself. And the problem that I'm saying with young guys is that you have actually gotten yourself into addiction of alcohol, you've gotten yourself to the addiction of drugs and all those kind of things. And the problem is that you do not have a stable income, and you have continuous desires of taking these products. And these products, for you to access them, you have to have money. And the problem is this: you spend the whole night of yours taking alcohol, taking mirrors and all those kind of things. So probably when it dawns, you do not have the energy. Not even the energy, you do not have the chance of you going to work so that you can get money. The evening is here, you have to hang around with your boys. Now what do? Therefore you turn to crimes and all those kind of things. So therefore that kind of a thing actually delimits you from achieving the greatest desires or the greatest heights as far as your life is concerned. What did I say? If you ask me, I would say don't drink. That's a reality. But then if you're in a situation whereby you have to, then it means that you have to get it in a controlled way, not just getting it in a way that it is actually limiting you from achieving that what you desire in life. And this is something that actually drives me on in this life, is that whenever I realize that something is actually getting out of control, something is actually deciding how I'll function, what I will do, where I will go and how I will go there, then therefore I realize if that something is not for progressive purposes, then I realize there's a thing that I should shake off its effect and be able to progress to the next level. This one is not easy. I'm telling you the truth. I did not promise that it is easy. What I said is that it requires consistency, discipline, and sacrifice for you to achieve exactly that. All right? And that now graduates me to the next point, last one but not the least. And the last one talks about, men have what we call ego, fame, desires to prove a point at any cost. Now, this one actually brings men down. For example, say you're hanging around with some of your peers or friends. Say you privileged to make like, let's say, 70 G's at the end of the month, and them, they're making quite high. Probably you do not know how much they're making, but they're making high. Or let's say you guys are just making the same. Now, in the process that you find them, they've actually acquired something, which is amazing, good and okay, and you actually decide to get that thing. And you, where you are in the situation that you are in, because you understand yourself far much better than them, you also want to prove to them that you can achieve it, because yes, you're arguably a man. So you go ahead and buy that thing, achieve that thing, even if it means you doing anything that you can, and probably that thing is a liability. All right. And then in the process, now you've actually constrained, you've actually choked the cash flow in your income. Then in the next minute, you're going to get yourself into debts, you're going to get yourself into unhealthy situations. And by the time you realize, it happens for you to get fired, then everything has actually turned upside down. So what am I trying to drive at this point? I've actually seen several people who actually do the best they can. They overstretch themselves to make sure that at least they are at par with their friends. And in the process of them being at par with their friends, they actually get themselves into liabilities. You actually go there, buy a car, a loan car. It's a very expensive one. It's not a car that is actually generating any income to you or for you. And then in the process, that thing is taking money out of your pocket. You do not even have a piece of land somewhere. You've never even invested in anywhere. You've never even started a business. But just because you want to appear as if you're also successful, you know what you're doing, then you get yourself in such a situation. And when things messed up in the process and you require them to support you, there's nowhere to be seen. So the reality is this: be very careful whenever you want to feed your ego. Prove a point out there at any cost. And I always say, nobody should never lie to you that the life that we live on is not a competition. It is, and then a very stiff one. But the point is this: you have to do things according to your own rate. Consider looking forward or also looking around and seeing those guys who are actually above you to give you the motivation. I am not saying that you should look them down. The point is this: look at them and achieve things. Subdivide that larger goal into smaller sections. When you achieve that a small section, you feel congratulate yourself and you move to the next level. Now that, if you understand that skill, therefore can actually delimit you from actually, misusing your money and the resources that are meant to actually growing yourself. Right? If I can just recap on exactly what I've just said: one thing, that uncontrolled desires of women. Number two, I said untamed alcohol taking and party throwing. And number three, I've talked about you proving the point at any cost, just because you want to feed your ego, your fame, and all those kind of things. So if you want to take care of those three things that I've actually outlined out there, of which it requires a very delicate balance of you being intelligent, making sure that you do not harm anybody around. Therefore, I am telling you, at the end of the day, you're going to emerge yourself as a successful, and not just as a successful, but as a successful man who is desired by majority of the people who are out there. That's the end of my video. And by the way, if you feel at this particular point you would love to have a conversation with me, you can grab my number from the description of this specific video. Give me a call. And as well, if you'd like to get my booklets on investment, they are quite available there, majority of them. So all what you need to do, use the same number. You can give me a call, text me on WhatsApp. You get your copy. It's only $280. For now, it's a goodbye. See you in the next one.